I'll welcome everyone to the Manchester Select Board meeting for August 19th, 2025. There is a sign-in sheet on the table. If you didn't sign it on the way in, please do so before you leave. And we'll have a record of who's here this evening.
Just forgot. Or are we doing it right now?
Right now.
Okay.
Get in?
I thought you were on your way.
Yeah, I believe it. People to rise if they can, and we'll salute the flag.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, this is the time in the meeting for public comments. If there's anything that people want to speak to that's not on the agenda, now would be the time to do it. If it's on the agenda, we'll wait until it comes up. Norma, anything that's not on the agenda?
I just want to say thank you for being here for us.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And that is actually on the agenda for later in the meeting. So,
It is.
yeah. So I don't see any hands up, so I think we'll move into the agenda and start with the approval of the minutes from the select board meeting of August 5th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Waiting to see if you do it from Zoom.
The select board minutes from August 5th.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, that's 4-0. We have a liquor license application. It's a request for a cater permit at Aspen Motel.
Right, and usually the town clerk can administratively approve this, but only up to 11 p.m. And that's why it's coming to you, because they're looking to go to either 11:30 or midnight. They have a wedding, and it's at the Aspen Motel next week. Actually, this week.
Okay, so this is a one-time request for a wedding that's happening,
Request to cater, yeah.
request to cater. And do we, as a matter of course, give extended timeframes from time to time on catering?
We have,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was my son manages Hilding. I'll
Right.
qualify this by letting people know that the maintenance side of it. And if they don't shut down their weddings at 11, of course, that's in the village. If they don't shut down their weddings at 11 p.m., there's all kinds of hell breaks loose. So I didn't know if this was different than that.
I mean, you have the capacity to extend the hour.
Okay.
As long as the liquor doesn't lead to more noise.
Well,
No, I don't have a problem.
it's music.
Right,
I mean, that's generally the complaint, is that the music is too loud and that goes on.
right.
I say go join the party. But,
I don't necessarily think we're gonna run into an issue.
So,
I'll make a motion to approve the extension of a time license for the Aspen Motel request.
I'll second.
it's moved and seconded, and on the permit for the application has a start date of August 23rd at 5:00 p.m., 1700, and an end time of midnight, which is technically August 24th. So in approving the request, we're approving that time frame, as long as everyone understands that. Everybody's nodding, so all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, that again is 4-0. Okay. This one is near and dear to your heart, Norma. this is, agenda item number 5 is trucks braking on Main Street near Hunter Park entrance. The town has received several complaints about construction trucks using Jake brakes near the residential homes near the Hunter Park Road entrance. These trucks are usually headed north toward town along level ground and have been disturbing residents. We have in the past and may still have areas in town where we have signs up for no.
We have a sign in Richfield Road by the track.
That's the one that I'm thinking of.
It's a more of a friendly sign.
And many towns have a ban against using engine brakes within the town limits. And honestly, I think it makes sense.
And if I could caution you just for a moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm discussing this with Jeff Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, the town trucks use Jake brakes, especially during the winter, he said. So he reminded me of that friendly sign that says, please refrain from using engine brakes, is I think how it reads. And so maybe we do something like that with some signage out here. And we can also, he suggested, to reach out to Herman Construction, who a lot of these vehicles are going in there, and we could just give them a heads up to try to tell their guys not to use the engine brakes as much as they have
Yeah,
been.
it requires slowing down in advance. The engine brake does have a practical application. I mean, you're gonna wear out your brakes quicker if you're not using it. So there's a financial penalty, let's say, for not using the Jake brake. But it's, I think, within the town limits, and especially in this one location where we've had a lot of complaints. We've also had complaints on Route 30.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think that kind of, that sort of sign, I don't think, I mean, Jonathan, you used to live right there at Richfield Road, right next to where that sign is. Do you think it made a difference?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I've certainly been sitting at, Charlie's, and I hear the trucks as they're coming to a halt in front of Charlie's. And it's actually, I've been on conference calls just like this, sitting out front and haven't been able to hear. So I think it certainly, I can anecdotally speak, from Wide Awake Road even, Wide Awake Road's a pretty steep road. And when there was more construction happening up at the top towards 3 Maple, that was a daily occurrence. I did reach out to, the company that was the perpetrator, and the next day they wasn't to say it was completely stopped, but it was certainly significantly improved. So I think that potentially raising awareness, like you stated, with the, let's start with the please refrain when at all possible. This is a residential neighborhood, or there are, sensitive businesses, or however we want to word it, or however other places have done it, I think might be a smart first step, and reaching out to whoever the companies are that are, causing the most noise.
I think that most of the companies in town want to be good neighbors and good citizens. And a lot of drivers are just generally unaware. So that might be a reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be required to accomplish that?
I don't need a motion or anything, like just a consensus to do that, and I'll do that. Given your consensus tonight, and we'll reach out to them, and I'll have Jeff get a couple signs up. Would you like to include Bonnet Street also with those signs?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yes,
If you're putting up signs, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but Jonathan probably can't. Can we help you to the microphone?
Can I bring it? I can.
You can bring it to her. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. I just wondered when you were putting up signs, if you could put a stop sign at the end of Riley Rink. That, they put us right, we were coming out our driveway, they put us right off the road. Coming out there, they never stop. I mean, it's dangerous.
There's,
It's when they empty out, they're going both directions, north and south. And we came down, there was nobody there and some car come flying out.
no stop sign there,
There's no stop sign there.
private road,
I
correct?
was gonna say, is it private?
Yeah. But I think that's a reasonable, there's a lot of traffic going in there.
It is a lot of
It should be
traffic.
a stop sign.
Yeah, it looks like it's missing is what.
Yeah.
It's like painted line too.
Yeah, stop,
Okay.
Thank you.
Lots of young drivers too. So
Yeah,
it's-
going in and out.
Okay, I think we've dealt with agenda item 5. 6 is to possibly adopt the final Town of Manchester local hazard mitigation plan.
oh, Tara, I thought you weren't here.
Dara,
Oh, I was very quiet. over
Dara is here.
In the
You
corner.
quiet, that's fine.
Oh, I was sitting very quiet. So back in March, I was here, and I reviewed the local hazard mitigation plan that the planning team, from Manchester had put together for the town. That planning team consisted of the town manager, who's also the EMD, Scott Murphy, the chief of police, Chief Owens, and Lieutenant Blanchard, director of public works, Jeff Williams, Eric Severance, the chief operator of the water and sewer department, our zoning administrator, Peter Brabazon, and his assistant Elias, the executive director of the North Shire Rescue Squad, Katie Van Dale, and Katie Dixon when Katie came on. So that group worked diligently over the past year to put together this hazard mitigation plan, which was presented in March for public comment. So we sent it out all over. We received 2 comments back. They've been incorporated into the plan. If you'd like to see them, they're in one of the appendixes in the back. Where we're at tonight is that it's already gone to Vermont Emergency Management. They've done their review and come back and said, good, you're good to go. You meet FEMA standards, which is what we were looking for. And now we can go ahead and we can ask for the select board to adopt the plan. The next steps, if you choose to adopt it tonight, is the town should review it annually in December. Just look over the mitigation actions that the planning team put together and had prioritized. See if it fits in anywhere in the next year's budget. If you want to incorporate some of those actions, or if you've completed actions, you can cross them off. And then just a reminder that it is due to be renewed in another 5 years, right? We always have that, that due date that comes due. We usually try to start that process 18 months prior to when the plan expires. And so that gives us enough time, the planning team time to work through it without having to rush. And the most important part of this is that the town now has ERAF status of 17.5%. Would you like me to review what that is? Okay. I never know if I'm just repeating things you already know or if you'd like me to review it. So that's the Emergency Relief Assistance Fund that's provided by the state. So when FEMA comes in for after a natural disaster, they cover 75% of any damages that occur. On top of that, the state will cover an additional 7.5%. But if the town checks certain things off their list, you can be eligible for the state to cover up to 17.5%, leaving the town with just the remaining amount. So it's good to have that. It means you're left holding the bag for less after a natural disaster, should it have any consequences in the town. So now Manchester is at that highest rate that you can get right now, 17.5. So congratulations. That's great. Not all of our towns are there. So I always big applause for those plans, for those towns that are. And then what will happen next, if you approve it, is we just send it to Vermont Emergency Management again. They send it to FEMA and they say, yes, this is golden. FEMA will send us an approval letter. It's your official letter. And then we put the plan, the finished plan all together and we publish it. BCRC puts it on our website. The town can either link to our website or publish it yourselves if you would like, or hold paper copies, whatever is best. And then you're good to go and just review in December and I'll hopefully see you in a few years to do it all again. Happy to answer questions. That I know that that was like a really condensed review of that. Happy to.
Do you have any intelligence at this point on whether FEMA is going to honor the 75% going forward? The governor was just in Londonderry
Yeah.
reviewing that area's, all the fixes they did and then cap that visit off with abolishing FEMA would be a big mistake. Is there any?
I don't have any more news than the governor. I wish I did. Good news is that my position, which is FEMA funded through the state, it's a grant to the state, and then we're subrecipients. My funding was renewed. So that's always a good sign for us. Fingers crossed, I'm still here. So, but I don't have any other information than that. I'm, really happy to hear that the state is in discussions for funding a disaster budget, recovery budget. There's some conversations going on about that. I only know what I see in the papers, I wish I had special intel.
Yeah, no, I had a meeting this morning with one of the Vermont Emergency Management people, and I asked him that same question. He said the feeling in the state is that there'll be some form of this around, even if it's not called FEMA anymore. So there's got to be some sort of assistance available for disasters.
We know Welch is trying to craft some legislation as well around keeping FEMA, but let's do this revamp on how it works. And so he was out and about. I saw him in Killington. I think it was a couple months ago now, kind of taking stock of where the state was in some recovery and kind of starting to broach his bill at that time. So, the discussions continue. In what form we'll see it.
You mentioned that we should have a review each December. Would it be necessary to review this December as well, given that it is August, or are we good for this year?
So my suggestion, and Scott, we had written it into the plan, is that every December in preparation for the budget, just to review it. So I would say yes for this December, give it a quick review. What steps should we consider to add into the budget? Is it a good fit this year? Or maybe not this year, but look at it for next year. So I would give it a review this year just to see. Remember, this is kind of like a wish list.
Yeah, no, I mean, we spent so much time with Dara on this and she's been great herding us and pulling us together for this because it's kind of, they were reluctant to get involved in this as deeply as we had to. But given that we all pitched in and went through it, I think it would be really good to just, review it quickly because there's a lot of items in there that we will have already accomplished just through our normal course of business.
And so this is, sorry, Jonathan, this is it's kind of like a living document in a way, in that you can say, we're done with this task and then move on from that one and then look at the other tasks. And then if, let's say we have a natural disaster, something happens, and we now have a specific project that really needs to be done, the town can add that as one of the mitigation actions, which then shows support to FEMA that, yes, we do want to get this done. It's just another layer of support. So the actions themselves are living and breathing. You can remove them if they've been done, and you can add to them if something comes up that needs attention as well. Jonathan, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And my only question, well, and my only point was that it may actually be more beneficial, actually, now they think about it, for December, given how fast things are moving on the federal level, that the landscape may look completely different in just a few months. I do know, we have had a natural disaster, at least in Texas, Vermont hasn't, but Texas did, and they were denied FEMA funding. So, I think it's a kind of a crapshoot to understand where we may or may not be getting funds. I would hope that we would, but I don't think it's a given. So,
Yeah.
So, Scott, should we adopt the resolution?
Please.
Mike,
I reviewed the draft plan back in April, and I don't know if it's changed since then. And maybe this can go on your list of things for December, but it seems that we're on the precipice of acquiring some additional properties. And I think the plan should be broad enough to incorporate those other properties where mitigation measures might be taken.
And I think we broadly included them, Mike, but we can be more specific once we do acquire them. And that's still an if because of what we just talked about. It's been a slowdown in FEMA responses.
Hopefully that would be resolved by December.
Oh, nice.
any other comments? Would you like for the resolution to be read?
I can do so.
It's not terribly long.
Okay. A resolution of the town of Manchester adopting the town of Manchester hazard mitigation plan dated today. Whereas the select board recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property within the town of Manchester. And whereas the town of Manchester has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as the Town of Manchester Hazard Mitigation Plan, dated August 19th, 2025, in accordance with federal laws, including the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, as amended, the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended, and the National Dam Safety Program Act as amended. And whereas the Town of Manchester Hazard Mitigation Plan dated August 19, 2025 identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in the Town of Manchester from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. And whereas adoption by the Town of Manchester demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the Town of Manchester Hazard Mitigation Plan. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town of Manchester, Vermont, that Section 1, the Manchester Select Board adopts the Town of Manchester Hazard Mitigation Plan dated August 19th, 2025, while content related to the Town of Manchester may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements. Changes occurring after adoption will not require the Town of Manchester to re-adopt any further iterations of the plan. Subsequent plan updates following the approval period for this plan will require a separate adoption resolution adopted by a vote of all this 19th of August, 2025.
And I would entertain a motion to,
I move to approve the resolution adopting the Town of Manchester Local Hazard Mitigation Plan.
seconded by Lori. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that's 4-0.
Does that force Heidi into a position, by the way?
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a
I'll be
pleasure
back in
work
town to
with
sign it
everyone.
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
It really was a pleasure to work with the team. Everybody really came together multiple times. We had to do things sometimes a little bit remotely through email. Everyone was very responsive. It was a great process, I think. So,
It was very good. Thanks to you.
and you, Katie.
I know that, it's moving on out. Okay.
You can scan that to me. Perfect. I'll take it, Jonathan.
Hey, Sarah.
Thank you, Don. All right, the next agenda item, Scott's turn, is
is, stand by.
The Hayes Green Mountain Estates Capital Fund.
So you've got in your packet, actually, an actual listing of the proceeds from the Green Mountain Estates and the expenditures from the same to date. And what brought this up was actually ongoing expenses and caused me to look at the agreement. And you have that in your packet also. But basically, the agreement specifies that the funds would be used to, in payment of expenses to maintain, improve, replace, or upgrade the common roads and common utilities serving Green Mountain Estates and Mountain View estates. So we have this money, and in talking to Mike, it was slightly confusing to me for a while till I borrowed down on it. And so it's in the general fund, okay, but it's not a general fund money. So it's actually, and we can't create a capital account. The voters create capital accounts. But by signing the agreement, you accepted the funds to be used towards the general maintenance of the roads and the sewer and the water. So that kind of put us in, the money's sitting in a limbo situation. I mean, it's in the general fund, but it's not a part of the general fund. So it's like, what do you want to do with it? Shouldn't it be, well, my first initial thought was it should be in one of our Schwab accounts earning a higher interest rate type of thing. But in talking with Mike a little more, it's basically used, as ongoing expenses for the roads and the sewer and water. And so what it turns out to be, it's actually what is called a non-major special revenue fund. We have 9 of them already. And it's in your financial, the audit in page 65, 65. So we have a property tax relief fund, the police department, K-9 fund, the recreation committee, service officers, police benevolent, reappraisal reserve, restoration reserve, factory point cemetery fund, and the police department shared funds. Those are similar non-major special revenue funds. So this one falls into that category. Sorry, I'm letting somebody else in here. So
We can create,
we can ask the voters to create a separate capital account, but is that something you want to do? Because this is actually funds that we can use now
Yeah. So
for the general maintenance of roads and
generally speaking, the capital funds that are invested in Schwab and otherwise have limited access. Quite often, access to those needs to be approved by the voters at a town meeting. This is different because it funds ongoing expenses. A lot of them came rapid fire.
Right.
At the beginning. Some of them were still coming in. I came in to sign the check, I think, last week.
Right, that's right.
A couple of checks.
That's right.
I don't know if that was the end of it or not, but I understand what you're saying, and I guess maybe it just continues to be accounted for as money that's sitting in the general fund.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's maybe something we can ask the auditors too.
Yeah. What was that?
Sorry, can it be separated?
Well, it is.
A portion of it be put into a special fund?
well, that would be.
Because I think
But we don't have any special fund for any other particular pieces of our maintenance puzzle. Like we don't have something just for Center Hill Road or Highland Ave, or, I'm saying this is all part of the town maintenance costs.
But did the situation, I mean, we hadn't adopted or taken over a road to this capacity in recent memory, right, Ivan? So this is kind of a separate circumstance.
plus I think
No?
we're supposed to take some of the money to pay for a new pump station at some point or something. Isn't there?
Right, there was, I mean, we bought two new pumps, but there's more work to be done, more expenses to be incurred out there.
Oh, it's a little more.
That's correct. Right. So what I can check, I can check with the auditors on the actual usage of the funds. Right now, it's being used for anything that needs maintenance or repairs or placement out there, water, sewer, and roads.
Within the general fund, it has a line item. Is it designated
It's not,
in there?
and that's what
You,
threw me when I saw this, yeah.
couldn't you have it be a segregated amount in, as a line item in the general fund, just for accounting purposes, right? And
Yes.
you separately
Yes.
account for it in this manner?
Okay, so I
Does that make sense?
misunderstood your question. So Mike does have it set up separate,
As
as a separate account
point,
within our accounting system.
yeah, and then.
So that's how we track these expenses.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should carry on in this fashion. Just so that we know we can point to a line item and say that this expenditure corresponds to that number.
Yeah, I'm not proposing anything different right at the moment. I was just kind of digging into something that came up and uncertain about it.
I mean, you can't do anything else right now anyway. Sounds like.
Right, and we do have ongoing expenses. I know, Doug has been working with the attorney, Jim Carroll, about, an easement that still needs to be acquired. And that's like the final piece for this whole puzzle. It's not needed, but it would be something good to have for the future. So
Attorney's
Right.
associated with that.
there is, yeah.
Keep track of it and apply it to that location.
Okay.
Isn't the problem that you can't carry those from one year to the next?
Well, it'd be like the unassigned funds, it would be carry over that way, yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but I believe we have other funds that we're accounting for that carry forward year after year after year that are included in the general fund. Is that correct?
That's true, those 9 that I just listed off. So Mike, I'm gonna clarify that with the auditors on how that works. But, and I'll get back to you guys with that next.
Is the splash pad one of those numbers that carries over, for example?
Splash pad?
The splash pad.
We're funding that from a couple different sources, so.
That's something that.
Yeah.
It's just one that springs to mind.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
good one. Yeah, actually, we had voter approval to use capital funds for a portion of that.
Yes, right, we had a grant.
Okay, any questions or comments on the Green Mountain Estates capital funds? We're still hoping to see Mr. Brownie at some point. We'll move past that one. Agenda item 9. We need to appoint our town manager to represent the town as a voting member of the VLCT, PACIF, and VERB annual meetings on October 8th via Zoom.
To make a motion to appoint the town manager to represent the town as a voting member for all of those.
All those groups, those words, the acronyms.
We got a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
4-0. And Mr. Brownie has just walked in. Welcome. We're going to accommodate you right now, if that's helpful. We will accommodate you right now, if that's helpful.
Everything, can you come up to the podium, please? Can you, that way they can hear you at the Zoom.
What's going on?
One of our select board members.
Mr. Brownie has the Dominican, food, vending spot in town and, has been notified that there are several violations to our zoning or not the, vending ordinance. And he has come here this evening so that we can talk about it and see if we can bring things into compliance. Scott sent you a letter, the town manager sent you a letter, I think you.
Oh, yeah, I received the letter, yeah, about
Has,
the violation, about the violation, about the size of the truck and generator and sign and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my sign never left out there, so. I don't know why the sign was on there, because I take up my sign every night. Maybe someone might have passed and see it there like 8 o'clock when I'm cleaning. Or 8:30 when I'm still cleaning and think it's been left there, but I wait until I'm leaving to take it up because I can't better walk so far, take it up and come back. And so when I'm driving out to go home, I just put it away.
okay, now, there are no specific hours of operation with a vending license?
No.
Yeah, so if you're still working,
Yeah. It's just that the person who saw it don't know that I'm back there.
so that one's pretty easy. A couple of them are much bigger. It's the overall square footage of everything that you have there on the property.
I thought it was a truck. Someone came and measured the truck and said the truck was too big. So I kind of asked them, is it the truck or is it the gazebo?
It's everything combined cannot.
If I take away the gazebo, then it's okay. Because the truck is the same size as other trucks in the area. So, but the gazebo, if it's a gazebo that's making the square footage bigger, then that's okay. But if it's a truck, it doesn't make sense because there's other trucks that are bigger than my truck. So if it's the gazebo, then, I maybe can remove the gazebo or whatever, and then that should square away everything, because my truck is not bigger than any other truck. You know what I'm saying? So,
I understand what you're saying.
right. So is it the truck or the gazebo?
One of the problems is that the vending ordinance doesn't allow any permanent or semi-permanent structures, like a tent, a gazebo, that sort of thing. It was meant to be a self-contained business that was portable, that could be moved, and then we can waive the requirement to move it, but it can't have permanent structures attached to it.
That's not permanent though. It's a gazebo that can be pulled apart in like no time and move. So it's not like attached to the truck. I just push it close to the truck so that, because people think that food truck is just throw food in a box and said go eat wherever or however. You know what I mean? Food truck can be sophisticated too. It can be. I mean, that's why we're 4.8 star on Google, because look, people said, look, they've never seen a food truck where you can go sit down and eat in a regular dinner plate and serve with knife and fork and stuff like that. They've never seen that. So I'm basically providing, like, I'm trying to entertain my customers. So it can bring people from all about to come and eat. I wish we had like a food truck Friday or a food truck weekend or a food truck park or something, because that would bring a lot of tourists in, a lot of money for the town, a lot of money for everybody else. But I'm just trying to make my customer comfortable. You know, many times customers has driven into my place, and because it's raining, they drove out. You know, many times customers have come there because it's too hot, and they left. But most likely the rain, when it rains, I get nobody, because sometimes people want to walk over and get some food. Sometimes people want to drive and they want to eat in their car. They want to sit somewhere and eat where they're not getting wet. So, I'm trying to accommodate my customers the best way possible. I understand it's the ordinance and it's a law and all that stuff, but, Sometimes everybody has bend the law to suit themselves. Sometimes, we can forgive and forget and just kind of make things work,
I understand your desire to
I get it.
give your customers a good experience.
Yeah.
But
Get it.
there is a big difference between a vendor and a restaurant. And our ordinance differentiates, it illustrates the difference between those two uses. In our ordinance, you can't have seating associated with your vending operation because then it becomes a restaurant. And restaurants are a much different thing. They
Right.
require a different permitting process,
Yeah, I understand.
require zoning approval, parking, seating approval from the health department for a given number of seats.
Yeah.
Parking needs to be based on the number of seats. There's green space. The property is owned by someone and taxes are paid on the property. It's a whole different permanent thing. A vendor comes in and occupies a space on somebody else's property and occupies only that space, is not required to provide parking. And once you step beyond what the vending ordinance sees as a vendor, then you become competition against the restaurants in town that are paying taxes, that are providing this service.
It sounds sort of famous.
And paying everything that it takes to support that service. So the trouble is when you have seating, you move from vending to sit-down restaurant.
But what if it's just a table that can be removed, but you just put it out for the customer to eat? It's not like permanent, like I can take that, I can fold up, I put it away. But when customers come to sit and eat and when it's scorching sun, I put it out and they sit and eat and they go and can fold up again and put it away,
The ordinance clearly says that you can't have tables and chairs.
I understand all of that. Trust me, I understand.
And
But
I mean, you're
it's
a good guy, everybody likes you, everybody likes your establishment.
it's the ordinance and it's the law.
We can't let you live outside of what the rules are that everyone else is playing by.
Understand, but what I'm saying is that we all bend the rule to fit people's narrative. Take, for example, I don't want to say anything, but there's a lot that goes around here in which the rule has been bent to fit those narratives. And it's still being bent to fit those narratives. And they're there, and they're obvious, and they're sometimes hindrance. But nobody sees that. But if a food truck put a table out and fold out a table for people to eat and to come enjoy themselves, then it's a problem. I don't really see why someone or anyone or anything can really go against making people comfortable, eat in a comfortable space and just relax and enjoy good food. I'm not saying that I have a permanent table there or whatever it is. My table can fold up and put aside. And then somebody come and say, hey, can we sit here and eat? I'm like, yeah, here's a table. Here's 2 chairs. Sit and eat, enjoy yourself, get some good food. But I understand that the restaurant may have a problem with that because they think that we are impeding on their success or their customer or making their money. But where I'm concerned, no restaurant in town cook my food. No restaurant in town food tastes like my food. I'm not saying it's better or whatever, but no restaurant in town will ever cook my food because my food cannot be taught. It's cultural. So they don't have to be afraid of a little food truck may take away their customers. If a customer wants Jamaican food, they're going to eat Jamaican food. If they want burger, they're going to eat burger. People have choices. People can make their own choices. You don't have to worry about, okay, all right, hey, why you have a food truck have seat out and, customer. No, if you cook your food properly and treat your customer good, customer will go there. Because most restaurants around here, all they worry about is the numbers. So I am making sure that good food is in Manchester, where it's everybody, people from Florida, from everywhere, talk about my food on Google, everywhere. And they say it's the best food in Manchester. I know that the restaurants heard that, they saw that. They saw the reviews in Google and the stars. They don't like it. But it's irrelevant and stupid because your food is your food. My food is my food. Make your food better and you'll be fine. It's just, I'm just ranting. So, it's just, you know? It's just me, it's just my opinion, but you guys, I can do whatever you want me to do, it's fine. I have no, but I'm just putting a point out there, you know?
When we first started the whole vending idea, and we had two vendors in town, and they were it was like Nancy's,
Yeah, Nancy's hot dog.
was one of them. And she had a hot dog cart, and there was a hot dog man that had another one. And even though they fought with each other, it seemed to work pretty well. And then other vendors came in that had larger vehicles and larger presence, Hound Dog being one of them. And he didn't fit the ordinance. The ordinance didn't allow for something of that size and everything. And there was a lot of, we changed we created another piece of the ordinance to allow for a larger vendor, of which class 2, of which you are. And it accommodated a truck of a certain size or whatever the trailer, whatever it is. And there, many of the restaurants in town complained. And we made it clear that there's a difference between someone who's vending and the restaurant in town. And it's been pretty quiet of late, and I can't say that anybody's complained about what you're doing. But the trouble is, what you're doing doesn't live within the boundaries of the ordinance.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So we can only do one of two things. It's either serve you with a violation because you don't comply with the ordinance, or change the ordinance because what you're doing may seem reasonable. If it's reasonable for you, then it's reasonable for anyone. And then immediately, I'm going to tell you that there are other vendors in town that are going to want to put up tents and tables and chairs and everything. The problem is that they are, I think you're sitting on a piece of property that has excess parking. So you're not throwing them into a situation where they're out of compliance with the underlying zoning permit. But where some of these other vendors are, they are occupying one parking space. And if they put up other accommodations, it's going to put the underlying property in violation of their zoning ordinance. And then that puts them in a bind. I'm not sure what yours does because I haven't looked at it. That would be a job for a zoning administrator. But it's a very slippery slope if we start making exceptions
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
to an existing ordinance.
Yeah, that's reality.
What I would like to see happen is for you to meet with Peter or Scott and work through this, because we can't do it in the context of a meeting because we don't have specifics and all that sort of thing, and work it out so that you're within the zoning ordinance and you're allowed to continue to operate.
Okay. Yeah, that's logical.
I mean, that's
Logical.
that's all it is. There's other areas in town where we've tried to bring people into compliance with existing rules, and there's usually an outcry. They're not hurting anybody, or what they're doing makes sense. But the problem is, if we change the ordinance to allow it there, it could create problems in other areas. There's always unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Changing the ordinance, and I think we've struck a balance where we can maintain that line of differential between a vendor and a restaurant that everybody's comfortable with, unless someone can convince us otherwise that it needs to be changed. So
What's the class license to? Because Peter said that my square feet is over 300.
yeah, the large,
So what's the largest
There's a top,
square feet you can have for the class license, like class 1, class 2?
100 square feet,
that's the
The largest,
it's the largest,
it's the largest?
largest.
Oh, okay.
So why don't we do this? Why don't I grab Peter sometime and we'll come down and we'll talk to you and try to see if we can get to that goal and what we need to eliminate and what you can live with. So we'll work something out. We'll try to work something out between us.
I was asking Peter if I turn them sideways, side by side, if it would still make a difference. It's just,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might have to have the gazebo removed or the tent or something, but let's talk about it. Maybe we can figure out a way to do it.
Okay, because I was saying that if I remove the gazebo, then it would, within the ordinance, right?
You know, gazebo is not specifically mentioned. They mentioned tents and canopies.
Because my truck is like 18 by 7. The truck itself is 18 by 7.
I don't think we were counting the truck. I said, I don't think we were counting the truck.
Or is it gazebo?
It's the other, yeah, the
But,
gazebo.
oh, okay. That's what I was wondering, if it's a gazebo, is one that's making it over the 300 square feet.
That's-
I could remove that and then, you know, the truck is just 18 by 7.
Right, all right, so, Everton, let us come down there and talk to you. We'll come
Okay.
down. What's the best time of day for you, though? Is it like 11 o'clock maybe, or is that too early, that near
It's like,
preparation?
like 2:30.
2:30?
lunch.
Okay, so sometime in the next week, we'll be down at around 2:30,
Okay,
okay?
all right, that makes sense.
All right, thank you.
All right, and
Right.
that was it?
That's it.
Well, oh, I thought, what about the generator and stuff like that?
Oh, I mean, that needs to be discussed as well. The generator, is there, under the ordinance, the generator is not allowed. The use of tents is not allowed. You mentioned the sandwich board, that you do take that in when you're
Yeah,
leaving.
no,
Propane tanks must be secured and grease traps must be self-enclosed.
oh, so that, I didn't understand
Yeah,
that in the letter. When you said secure, what do you mean? Because
that I don't know. That sounds like some.
it's a 300-pound tank that sits on the ground that it can't attach to the truck. Like, I don't,
What happened during Irene is those tanks floated and became a floating potential bomb.
if there's a flood,
Yeah, and there's a flood. So that's why they're required to be held down. Maybe a sandbag or something like that could be used to hold it down.
oh, okay, because I was saying to Peter that no matter what you do with the tank, if you attach it to the truck, I mean, water can till whatever that, you know, I mean, you can't stop water from doing anything. So I was saying to Peter, like, what should I do? Like, there's no way in a truck to attach it because my truck is not, it doesn't have like iron stuff inside, you know, it's like, it's just this tinning. So I can't attach it to anything because the truck can't screw into it.
Well, like I said, maybe we do some sandbags or something on top of it to hold it down. I don't know. We'll come out, we'll work on each one of these points with you.
So
Generator,
what will happen is, it sounds like Scott and Peter and Elias probably will come out. You'll have a conversation. They will address this list of items, go down through it one at a time and see what they can do to help you bring it into compliance, and hopefully we'll land on something that works for you and brings you into compliance with the ordinance.
right? And the generator?
The generator's part of it, and that discussion will take place there, but I don't see flexibility on that. Do you?
No, not right now. I mean, we had a vendor earlier that went and paid for the electrical connection, which was the taco guy that
Oh, yeah.
was connected to our Depot Street properties. But we sold him and he's had to move off.
Well, that's part of the discussion, figure out
Good, yeah,
how that'll work.
because that pole is expensive to put up. It's not my property, so if I leave,
I understand,
it's sitting there, you know?
I understand.
Yeah, and that's what happened to him.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll be
right,
back in touch.
is it?
That's it for now.
Thank you, guys, have a great evening.
Good evening,
Coming in.
thank you. Let's see, we appointed the town manager, we're down to town manager updates.
Okay. Oh, summer camp and the pool just closed. We had a great season, solid numbers. We extended the pool season by a week. And would have liked to go on even more this week, but, we just don't have the staff. They go back to school.
You don't want to go and do the lifeguard thing?
It'd be fun if it was nice out, yeah. But anyways, we had good numbers. The camp counselors did a great job, and lifeguards and everything went really well. So just wanted to update you. I wish I had some numbers, but Brian's been on vacation the last few days and well deserved. Pickleball and tennis court construction is still ongoing. It says finishing up, but right now it's just paved. They did a lot of work over there. If you ever try to take a look. But the fencing still has to be put up, although the poles are in. And then the painting of the courts. We put in some pedestrian crossing, streetlights at Main and Memorial Ave, which I know there was a discussion point earlier this year. We wanted to get them in before school started, because that's a popular crossing area for the students. Seems to be used a lot the last couple of days. They just finished last Friday getting it in, so
You're great.
it's a nice addition. And then we had some complaints of the e-bikes speeding up and down Main Street. The police were well aware of some of the speeders and had given out warnings and continued to give warnings. And one particular person received a warning, and 24 hours later, he was arrested for this because he refused to abide by the warnings. So we have arrested one of these e-bike speeders, and maybe that'll be a warning to the others.
So are they supposed to stay to the right like a bicycle when people are supposed to pass? But the problem is that, as I think I mentioned last week, I was on Richville coming off of Union. Two of them were behind me and pacing me at 35, 40 miles an hour. I was going over the speed limit to see if they could keep up, and they're right behind me. So they're not driving those things. It seems as, I don't know how you enforce it, but it's.
According to Chief
And there
Owens,
was more today driving right down the middle of the road behind cars as if they were, licensed permitted vehicles.
they're difficult to catch in the act, one thing, and but up until this last year, the police really couldn't do much. So the legislature passed, amended a particular statute that allowed the police to address it. We may actually, with this arrest, be the test case in court, the way it's worded.
I want them to have fun with them but obviously doing wheelies in the middle of traffic at speed, literally 35 miles an hour is in between two cars all moving at the same time is not optimal.
Some are very talented, but
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Highly skilled,
Um,
but things can go wrong.
well, and I think drivers too, to a degree, aren't thinking about them, and because they're not really as visible either as other vehicles. And again, I don't want to be a curmudgeon about it, but it just seems like it could be a dangerous endeavor. I don't know if you can permit them or whatever for road use.
Well, I'll keep you up to date on how this particular case goes, and we'll see what we can do in the future.
Bicycles, roller blades, roller skates, scooters, not motorized. And I suspect e-powered scooters and bicycles fall under state statute as vulnerable users of the road. They have to adhere by the rules of the road, but are given preference, as pedestrians are, for right-of-way from larger non-vulnerable vehicles. So they actually have some rights that automobile drivers don't have, and I can't tell you what those rights are.
Yeah.
But I know that if it were a bicycle, and I suspect an e-bicycle is a bicycle, I don't know for sure. They would fall under that vulnerable user status. And I'll have to check on that. It's been a long time since I looked at it.
Cars have to give way.
You
or
have to give way, yeah. Yeah.
X amount of distance
Yeah.
around them when they go around X, Y, Z.
But I suppose a guy on a bicycle could, if he were fit enough, could ride the speed limit
And do
and
wheelies.
do it. But it does make it easier to pull those kind of stunts.
Right. Well, and as I say, they're really proceeding on the town roads just as everybody else is. And it just seems
Well,
a bit different.
and an electric car is a motor vehicle,
Right.
and a golf cart would be considered a motor vehicle. And I think probably given that an electric powered two-wheeled vehicle might be a motorcycle, which is a motor vehicle.
And what age does somebody have to be to travel on a dirt bike, for example, if they were on the road?
Well,
Is it 15?
if they're on an
15?
unregistered dirt bike, they shouldn't be on.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's where it's sort of heading, is that it should be registered as an e-bike. And I don't know, you have to be a certain age, right? I saw somebody today with clearly in the 12 to 13, maybe 14
We used to,
year age.
when Mike and I were younger, we used to register our bicycles.
Still have my license plate. I'll bring it in.
That was in probably the early sixties. I don't, yeah, it might have been the fifties, probably.
Anyway. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that was a local, I mean, the registered bicycles was a Manchester thing. But I don't know if we have the jurisdiction or the ability to do something like that locally. I think that would have to be a state.
And, right.
It also, creates a database with serial numbers and things. So if one is stolen, it's the owner as well.
And I know those Huron electric bicycles are extremely expensive and are highly coveted by unsavory characters.
You can get them at the Lions auction for $20.
Oh, really?
I say you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey.
All right, so we have arrested someone. That's interesting. Okay, is that it for the town manager's states? Other business at select board level, anything?
I just want to mention Brian again. We were over taking a walk around the park and it just is really in great shape. He's done a great job. A little public recognition to he and the folks over at DPW who also helped take care of it. It's just an amazing facility. And he's done a great job over there.
Yeah, it looks really good right now.
Works hard. And they all do.
Any other business? Is there a need for an executive session?
I don't know, when Jonathan just sent me a text about something.
I was just curious if we needed to discuss the outcome of the housing task force and any steps forward on that.
I think that should be a line item. I mean, that should be on an agenda item. Maybe.
Correct. No, I was speaking to the clarifications we were seeking.
Put it on the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Our next meeting is September 2nd, 2025. Here. All right.
Hey, Jonathan.
Recording stopped.